What does it mean in our community to be a man? Not what other folks say and what other folks doing. You can borrow from the things you like and you can learn from the things that you don't like. But at the end of the day, let's bring it back home. All right. So you say that, not you, but a lot of young guys are talking about how the quality of women just isn't up to snuff. Right. And they blame women for just about everything. Well, that's a weak man in my view, because if you hold to my Neanderthal thinking, I guess, the man is the leader. The man is the head of the household. And you see, most guys will be like, yeah, the man is a leader. The man is the head of the household. But I'm not talking about it because of my because I got nuts. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying because what it takes to be that thing. You know, are you willing to literally die for your wife and children? Are you literally willing to die for your neighborhood? If something goes right in your household or in your circle, are you willing to not take the credit and give the credit to the people around you? But when things go wrong, are you willing to step up and say, that's on me? Because you know you're going to go handle it later with these people who messed it up. But in the moment, your job is not about you. It's not about how you feel. It's not about how much recognition you get. It doesn't matter how happy you are, how sad you are. You are a living sacrifice to your woman and your offspring. If you aren't there, then we're not on the same discussion plan for what a man is. So we got to get that first. And until we get that, what we're going to do is we're going to argue about, well, a woman says a real man is this. I don't care what a woman says a real man is. I straight up and down, I don't care. I learned when I was in like middle school, when you would like chase, we were out there chasing the women and, trying to, you learn. You don't listen to what a woman says she wants. You pay attention to what a woman wants.
Nuance. They don't get that. They got
to do it.
If
it's serious.
Somebody gonna miss that. You got to explain that. You got to understand there's a nuance to what you just said. Like a woman they'll say certain things, but there's certain things that they need. I try to have this conversation with my son, right? I said, women are going to tell you they want certain things. For us, it was I need a man with sensitivity generation. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I need a man with sensitivity. But when brothers started crying and shit like that in front of women and stuff like that, I can't do this.
We weren't listening to them. We weren't paying attention.
Doing what they wanted. We were doing what they said.
Yeah. All the woman was really conveying to us is, I want a man who at least considers what I'm feeling and considers what I'm going through.
Right.
She's not asking you to be her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She ain't want you to be there crying and I think that's a part of what I think that's the part, and we do now. We're going off into a tangent, but
that's what we do.
That's going on with this mental health thing right now, right? Men's mental health is important, but you have to understand there's some shit you gotta suck up, bro. You're not right. This is not your job is to undergird your family, right?
Yeah.
And if you understand, anybody understands building structure and like that, the undergirding of the bridge, ain't nobody seeing that shit. Mm-hmm. It's holding on strong, but all that shit going on above it, it's just holding on, right? But if that shit breaks down, that whole bridge is falling down. Right?
I look at it like what you just saying. Think of the man, because it's an inverted principle. Think of the man as the foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. You as a man have to already know what you stand for, what you won't stand for, what you got to do all that math.
You got to stand on business
before you go out looking for a woman, or at least when you're refining yourself because you've already built the foundation. You have to, Because if you're weak and shaky, anything you build on top of it is doomed.
It's
So
yeah.
a lot of times what I'm seeing with men is that we don't want to do the work of making sure we're solid. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're trying to go get the woman before we're even solid, and then complaining that the woman is saying that, yo, you ain't got this and you ain't got that. She's saying that because you came to her unfinished.
Yeah.
You trying to get the wrong woman for the wrong man, right? Get your foundation set, because the strength of a man is in that foundation.
Well, let me also say this, and you have to understand what, and that, because I know people misconstrue this, because they
That's
always
cool.
do, is that what you're saying is not, it's not a financial thing.
No,
It's not
absolutely not.
not a financial thing. It is, so whether, so the narrative being spoken to them is like, oh, you have this amount of money. It's not a fine. It's about you having the principles to get it done, go out, do whatever you can in your capacity, and your capacity will grow in time. But you have to have the principle, say, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I undergird my family. That the
Yeah, I
life
put it like this, bro. If you don't have anything but money to account for your existence, then she will look for your money.
only in
If
money.
you don't have anything to account for your existence, then your femininity, your body, then he will only value your body.
That's it. That's
If
it.
you got to come with the things that I don't already have. I had a great discussion with a lady not too long ago. It was like a week or two ago. And like I was telling her, what a man, generally speaking, and there's all types of men for all types of different women and all different types of whatever your connection and your mix is. But for generally speaking, for a man, we are seeking that which we can't give ourselves.
Yeah, right.
And a woman is seeking that which she either can't give herself or chooses not to, right? But speaking for a man, I don't need a woman who can protect me physically.
No, I don't want
That's
that.
not what I need a woman for,
Big woman, brother.
right? I need a woman who can protect the part of me that I don't know how to protect. I need a woman who will protect my heart, protect my ego, and protect my vision. That's what I want a woman for.
That's good shit.
And if all you can bring me is the fact that you can give me sex, I can get sex elsewhere, or I can go without it, whatever. But if I don't feel safe with you, then I can't truly build with you. Right? And that same principle
That's gonna go
exists
viral,
for
bro.
women.
That's gonna go viral right there, bro. That's
I'm just saying that same principle exists for women. Women generally, naturally seek comfort and protection. Why do they seek comfort and protection? Because they are driven biologically to protect and care for the next generation.
Right, right.
So if you can't present to her that you are the vessel that can provide that covering in any way other than financial, you cannot blame her for seeking the best financial option.
Right.
You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So when you come to these women and you're saying that, you know, she's this and she's that, and she all she wants is my money and all she wants that, because that's all she can see in you. So she's trying to skip the line and see, well, if I can't get the man who works for me, can I at least get the man that'll keep me safe? Right? Who can help me be comfortable? You can't blame her for that. But then as a man, we got to decide for ourselves what woman is worthy, what woman is qualified to be attached to me. Right? You got to have some self-worth before you can go and attach something to it. Because anybody you attach to yourself, young men out there, please hear me. Anyone you attach to yourself takes from you. It takes from you. When it's just you, you are just going to find what level of comfort and safety works for you. You can live in the hood. And as long as you know that you can get from your car to your house and do whatever you want to do in your house, you are just fine. But the moment you attach someone to you, now all of a sudden you got new considerations. Is it safe for her to get from the car to the house?
Right.
Well, where do I need to live so that she can safely get from there? Because I can't be here all the time. See what I'm saying? That takes from you. You got children. Now you're trying to figure out how do I make sure they're educated and they got the right things and all these things. I gotta add, I gotta go get a better job. I gotta go make more money. I gotta go flip this. I gotta go work that. That takes from you. But the joy, the power of being a man is being that foundation, because that foundation, like you said, nobody sees that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody really appreciates the strength of that foundation. They like how pretty the house is. And the joy of a good foundation is that house.
Right. The house is staying up for the years and years and years.
Yeah. A good man or a solid man, yes, we are human. We need to be taken care of too. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it's a life of self-sacrifice. It simply is.
It is.
And your joy is in seeing that when people see your child, that's the house. When people see your child, they say, man, that's a well-mannered young man.
Right.
That's a smart young man. Boy, that's a handsome young man.
Right.
When people see your wife, that's your house.
Right. And that's what I was explaining to a friend last night. Another thing, like when you said that though, it is, that's the best compliment. But it also goes to when it comes to your mate though as well. Like, the best compliment you can give them is like you being, your ass ain't out when you're out, when they're not with you, unless that's what you want. But you know what I'm saying? But you're presenting yourself in a way that's flattering to your person. You know what I'm saying? I don't want, you don't want to be like, oh, that's my husband, but he on somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Or that's your wife and she in the bottle of service getting, having usher feed her grapes and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But that was profound what you said, but what you connect to, it takes from you. It does take from you. And you have to be, and that's the woman's, when they talk about woman's femininity or whatever, that's what feeds and replenishes that taking from you, though. You know what I'm saying? That gives that back to that energy that you need to go back and do it more. So when I always hear this thought was, I need masculinity and femininity and stuff like that. Well, that's what real femininity fuels masculinity. It fuels.
We complement each other.
We complement, and it's an ultimate compliment, but it cannot. But and the definition of what masculinity is not having $100,000 income. It's not having
the biggest muscles.
It's not at all. And then I remember what I'm from an interview that I saw with Damon Wayans. What Damon Wayans said, the greatest gift my dad ever gave us was coming home every day. He said, that was the greatest gift my dad gave us, was coming home every day. Like, and I remember I think they have 8 kids. He had 8 kids or whatever. Yeah, 8 kids. He goes, because he said my mother was not easy to deal with, but he came home every day.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I didn't realize the value of this until I got to college. I'll be real with you. First of all, this is human nature. You don't truly appreciate what you have because you have it.
Right.
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 So I never once, ever once wondered if my father was coming home to me. Growing up, never. Wasn't even a bleeping thought. Right. That is not the standard experience for every person.
Right.
And it makes me think of, like, I don't know if you've ever heard the story of but I needed a pencil.
No, I heard that.
So it's like it's an educator's type of thing, right? So the teacher gets on to this young man because he keeps coming to class unprepared. He doesn't have a pencil. Right. My mother is raising us alone, but I don't have a pencil. I have to go to work when I get out of school so I can make sure money comes in the house, but I don't have a pencil. My little sister, I got to get her up and get her dressed because my mom works 3rd shift. I got to get her up, get her dressed, make sure she has something to eat, get her on the bus, and then get here. But I don't have a pencil. So it's like we oftentimes will focus on what's in front of us because everything else is already a given for us. But we don't understand you worried about the wrong things. Like this young man, for all the things you want to complain about, him not coming to class prepared, all he hears, but I didn't have a pencil.
Yeah, after all I'm already doing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like my dad coming home every day, that was standard. So what did I complain about? I didn't have the shoes I wanted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or my dad yelled at me too much. You know,
like I like that's just like what you said. Like when I used to go to the refrigerator, there was food in there. When I used to click on the light came on.
Every time.
When I was tired at the end of the night, there was a bed to lay my head in. Right. Those are all the things that a father puts in place for, you know what I'm saying, for their family, right? It's the undergirding, right, of the family.
If the father present.
And that's I was going to get to that. So what I know when it comes to being a father or whatever, and whatever it may be with the mother or whatever, I can't tell the dynamics of people's relationship, but I tend to, if you have a child, show up for the child.
Yes.
Just be consistent and show up. I don't care how you show up, just be consistent in showing up, right? The relationship will start to grow itself, but you've got to have the consistency to show up for that child all the time.
Some of the best advice I got, bro, because this is something that's like a personal wound, right? For me. So I remember when my first wife left and she took our daughter, and it damn near destroyed me. Only time in my life I ever contemplated taking my own life. And I remember, I think it was my cousin. And he paused one time. He did this to me a couple times. Thank God he was a lot bigger than me, because we would have had some, you know what I'm saying? I was not in a good headspace. But one thing he did say to me was, you can't control what anybody says about you. You can't control what her mother says about you to her. What you can control is you are always there.
Yeah.
Because the moment you stop showing up, everything said about you becomes true.
Yep.
Right. And I hope that helps some of the brothers out there. Keep trying. And sometimes, even though your best efforts, you're still frozen out. And you're just gonna have to let time work itself out, and hopefully you'll have another chance at this.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say, in situations like that where you might feel like you're frozen out, you got to build relationship with those that are around that child, right? You got to, however you got to communicate that child, because I have situations where the mother doesn't let you communicate with the child or whatever, or just kind of stall you out the child. You communicate with everybody around the child that has connection to that child. That way you can let them know, say, tell them I'm still here, give them my information, whatever it might be, because you have to always have that to be that you're consistently trying to get effort to that child, even if you're locked out. But if you're not locked out, you have to be consistent in trying to be around that child, be with that child.
You know, for the ones who are locked out, just and feeding off what you were just saying, if you're locked out, like she's just that messy, you know what I'm saying? The mother is just that messy, because we ain't gonna pretend like every single mother puts a cape on and is a superhero, okay?
Right.
So if you're locked out, the same principle still holds true. Be present in the people who are present for the child.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I don't know. This is just talking out the box. But if you got a decent relationship with the grandparents, you just can't deal with the mother. Every once in a while on Mother's Day, you know what I'm saying? You call up grandma and you say, Happy Mother's Day. I'm not the son that you may have always wanted me to be, but I want to be the man that you can be proud of. You can do that. You can show up and cut the grass, or you can pay for somebody else to cut the grass.
Yeah.
Like you can be the big thing in life. And this transfers to, I mean, we're talking about parenting right now, but this is the same thing for relationships, your job situation, your social networks. It's all about how do you show up. You got to create that dissonance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So so let's say in the scenario of it's the baby mother that she's always bad mouthing you, and she goes to bad mouth you to her cousin, but you and her cousin are cool.
Yeah.
The cousin might entertain her, right? Because it's better than dealing with the drama. But he knows they ain't the dude I know.
Mm-hmm.
You see
That's
what I'm
not what
saying?
you got, but you're present in that family still. And
Yeah.
honestly, my dad, after the divorce of my parents, my dad did a great job doing that. He stayed present with my grandmother the whole time. He was there. He would come through. You know, they never were divorced or whatever. He would still bring her stuff. You know what I'm saying? He still honored her, you know, even after the divorce, right? So I think that was uh my role model when to seeing that to stay honorable. There were sometimes I would question him, like, why the fuck are you doing that? Like, that ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm not with her, so why are you over there still talking to her, right? And he said, because that child. He told me, he's like, because that's my grandson. You know how Richard, but that's still my grandson. That's his mother still. So, and I was like, oh damn, okay. Now it made sense to me that at my big old age now, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
But
So
that right there, like what you were just saying, like, and I can give you examples from my dad doing similar things. Things like it's the quality of the man you choose to be.
right, right,
And that's one thing that I do preach, right?
right,
Is what about you? You know what I'm
right.
saying? It's too easy for us to focus on what the white man has done to us, what the government has done to us, what our ex-girlfriend did to us, ex-wife did to us, all these different things. But at the end of the day, the only one that's going to be with you every time you open your eyes is you.
Yep.
So what type of person are you? How do you define you? And first, how do you define you? That's big. First, you got to fall in love with yourself. People out there, I know it's hard right now. People are lonely. They're having a hard time. I get it. This ain't easy. Like I said, I went through a period where I didn't think anything was worth it, that there was more darkness and there would ever be light. I've been there. But at the end of the day, if you fall in love with yourself, the whole world can turn against you.
Yep.
The whole world. Your mama could leave you, your daddy could leave you, your best friend could leave you, your kids could hate you. You could even feel like God then walked away from you. But if you have fallen in love with yourself, you have a chance to put all of that back together.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. And a lot of times you're gonna have to walk. There's a period of your life. I don't care what it is. And I think this might be the prodigal son telling the Bible, right? You're gonna have to walk this life by yourself. There's gonna become a point as a man, you're gonna have to walk this journey by yourself a little bit, right? It ain't gonna you'll be lucky if you have somebody to walk it with you. And I say lucky, I mean you're gonna be real lucky, right? But most often not, you're not. Because your L's you're gonna have to take by yourself in the dark a lot of times, right? But it'll get you stronger. And that's a part of the forging of what it takes to be undergird a family, right? And I'm having this with my discussion with my son right now. Like, you're gonna have to go through take your knocks right now, because that's what's gonna purify you to be a better man, right? And he's like, I'm trying. He's like, now he's in his like, I'm just gonna retreat and be on me, do me kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be a little bit, because he's licking his wound a little bit from a situation he came out of. So I said, yeah, you're gonna have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Lick your wound, come on back, and then get back in it. You know what I'm saying? Regroup, figure out what's important to you, figure out what you don't want, what you do want, and then get back out there. You know what I'm
My
saying?
middle baby is too young to truly understand, and we've had these conversations similar to what you were just laying out. And the biggest thing I told her is you got to give yourself permission to change.
Mm-hmm.
You got to give yourself permission to change,
Mm-hmm.
because for the longest time I used to lament, like, my life. I'm one of those people that, like, I live by rules.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily live by anybody else's rules. I create rules for me
Mm-hmm.
constantly. So, like, each phase of my development was a different version of me.
Right.
And I remember when I was in my early 20s, when I did get married, I for the longest time viewed that as the best version of me. That guy was he was able to love, he was able to trust,
It was
he was
hurt.
smart, he was
Yeah.
all these different things.
Yeah.
But that version of me was great during that time. That version of me wasn't ready for what it had to take on next. So when that version literally died, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? The new version had a lot more rougher edges to it,
Yeah.
much darker version,
That's why
right?
it's gotta be dangerous. I always tell my friend, you gotta be dangerous. You got to be dangerous in this world. You can't be, you have to be a dangerous man. Um,
Well, qualify that. What do you mean?
when I say dangerous, I don't mean dangerous like I'm gonna like everybody needs to fear me, like I have to be, like I'm gonna go ahead and do a mass murder or something like that. I mean dangerous like you have to be able to willing to just do shit to get up out. You gotta get out of the situation. You got to be able to like make a quick decision that may not people may not like, but you can deal with it yourself, because a lot of times you're gonna have to make a decision for other people, but you're gonna only want to deal with the consequences of that, right?
Absolutely.
So you have,
If you fashion yourself to be a leader.
but what I also say, when you be dangerous, you have to be dangerous. Like you have to be dangerous enough. Like I'm gonna risk my life for these people, and I will do it without a blink. I will do it. And that's
Risk
that.
your life, but also risk your comfort.
And yeah, your comfort
Because
and
everything isn't unto death, right?
what'd you say?
Say everything isn't unto death, which I
Yes.
think a lot of times, especially our young men are very gung ho and, as we can say, cock strong or whatever. You think that it's death is the only thing you have to fight.
And then also that requires you to have restraint too. That the restraint part is big too, because like I know that if I'm responsible for my family, I can't go fly off on somebody's ass and just start tearing a hole in their ass because they done pissed me off. I have to still have emotional stability to like, okay, because I can't, because I know my family depending on me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just fly off on everybody, then how am I going to be the strong foundation they need? If that means I'm shaky, I'm weak.
Yeah. And
Because
you can't outsource your emotional issues to other people. They
any,
don't owe you anything.
anything can move you. I found that the definition of foundation is unmovable, it's unshakable. So that means you have to be solid in your emotional intelligence and your emotional stability.
So now I'm going to talk about another side of this though. Because I love we ended up on the manhood kick. Because I think it's super important. Because a lot of young people are just trying to figure it all out.
Right.
Now, if you're a young person and you're seeing any of this, keep in mind we
Mhm.
are both in the 50s age range. All
Right.
right.
You didn't get here overnight.
Yeah. So you're going to take your lumps. Life is going to do it. One of the sayings that I don't know where I heard it, but I've always taken it to heart. I think I got it sometime in college. Is life is 100% fair in its unfairness,
Mm-hmm.
right? In Bible speak, God reigns on the just as he does the unjust,
Yes. Yep.
right? It's all going to shake out in the wash. You just won't have the same setbacks as the next person. You won't have the same trials as this next person. And just so you guys understand, I'm not a religious person, but what I'm trying to convey to you is what the Bible teaches, what the Quran teaches, what the Torah teaches. These are all teaching you things about the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Some things just carry through.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? So your trials and your tribulations are custom made. They're custom made by, in my view, by you and by the creator. So, and I say the creator because the creator put all things in motion according to my belief system. But it's also you because each decision leads to the next decision. And that decision leads to the next decision. And each time you have choices to make before you land on your decision. So as you're navigating through life, young man, understand you're not always going to get it right. And allow yourself mentally and emotionally to understand that you're not always going to get it right. But as a man, you don't allow that to be your excuse. No matter what comes, no matter what decision you make, you own it.
Right. And that's
If
where
you are, yeah,
right. That's also where your integrity comes in at too. You're like we saying, um, if you keep and you have an integrity to yourself and you have a respect for people, you want to honor your parents and you want to honor your family and that you have, those decisions that you may have made that may have been not right or not or wrong, or you feel that didn't work out, those, if you have that core principle about yourself, then eventually you will always end up going to the right direction. That created that connection to the creator and always doing what's right will bring you back to the right direction.
yeah. Now you're gonna have to walk through some lonely hallways and some dark channels sometimes.
You're gonna, like I just said before, you're gonna walk alone sometime.
You
But
know,
you know where you need to be. But you got that light. The creator is that light that keeps you going in the direction you need to go, though. Whether that be
is.
the Torah, like you said, the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, whatever that is, that's going to give you some direction to where you need to go, because you can be principled, and things are going to come to you that'll help you get you better, get you better direction. But I'll tell you, it don't happen overnight, though, young man. It don't happen overnight. It's a process, and you have to allow yourself. You can't skip the process. Can't skip it. You got to go through it. And this kind of tying us back to what we were talking about earlier about the community, because what we're trying to do as older men is to grow up more men in our community to make those decisions that will impact the community overall. We need 100,000 more of us. You know what I'm saying? We
I
need
need you
100
to be
more of
I need you
y'all.
to be better than us. I
Yeah,
I
exactly,
need, like,
exactly.
my mission, and not to speak for you, bro, but my mission, a big part of my mission is I want as many of you to make it through to do better than I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I took too long to grow up, and I grew up faster than a lot of people.
Yeah,
So I want you to make it. I want you to not make, as my father once said to me, my job isn't to keep you from making mistakes. My job is to keep you from making the mistakes you can't come back from.
right,
Right. So I need you to understand that the drug life, it ain't for you. There's no life in that. There's no
right.
life in that. Okay. I understand you think you're just having fun or whatever, but if it's numbing you to life, bruh, I promise you, this ain't what you want. The running the streets and trying to act cool for your friends, man, I've seen it too many times. You know what I'm saying? When you lay in cold in that box, they only gonna feel for you up until the end of that ceremony, and maybe a couple months after.
That
After
T-shirt
that,
ain't gonna be the ink ain't gonna be rained over your
you
T-shirt.
ain't even gonna see that T-shirt.
It's gonna
You
be
know what
gone.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
So leave your legacy with the people. Here's one. I can't remember. I think it's from Nuri Muhammad might have said this, or somebody else might have said it. But it's like when you're trying to figure out who you need to listen to in life, because you don't know me. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I'm just
right.
some dude on here talking. But think of, who would you call, no matter how messed up you are, to come see about you. Those are the only people you should be taking advice from.
Amen.
You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? In that last, like, it's the police got you. Let's put it that way. The police got you, and they standing on your neck with some 20-year bid. Who you calling?
Yep.
Odds are you calling your mama, your daddy,
Yep.
your brother, your
Yep.
sister, or your auntie. Them the ones you listen to. Because those are the ones that up, down, left, or right are invested in you. Notice I didn't say your best friend,
Yep.
right? Now, your best friend is your best friend. That's your road dog. But I ain't going to be the one you call.
You know, now you say he a road dog, but sometimes the road get rough. He ain't there.
Yeah, and he's got to work his own. He's got to walk his own thing. Like,
Yeah.
this is a weird like transition, but it's like walking is what triggered this in my mind. So I'm a peculiar kind of person. You'll hear me say that from time to time. I am. I know I don't make sense in the current construct of how a lot of things work. Right. I am an odd duck, and I get it. But it was hard for my wife to understand early in our relationship when I was trying to explain this to her. I look at relationships, friendships, everything in life, even parental and everything else. I look at every relationship as each individual is having to walk their path. Okay. Now, as you're walking that path, somebody else is walking that path with you, right? I'm trying not to move too much because what'll happen is my stupid camera will start doing dumb things.
Yeah.
But this is you, and you're walking your path. This is your wife, your girlfriend, walking the path with you. It looks like it's perfectly parallel. So long as you're traveling together, everything's cool. But if you understand anything about angles and math, is odds are this isn't really quite parallel. Eventually, what's going to happen is you'll start to drift because each of you is trying to live your life. Each of you is facing complex situations. Each of you is being pushed on and tugged on by this thing called life. You lost your mother. She lost her brother or her sister. You know what I'm saying? Life is like that. And you have to understand that you must travel your path. Your job with your partner is to do the best you can to always stay parallel to each other. But recognize that sometime it ain't going to be up to you. And you got to be willing to let it go. You got to travel your path. And the decisions you make, not somebody else, will decide that path. Don't be sitting here, and I'm talking to the men. I can't really say too much to the ladies because I'm a little limited there. But to the men, you got to own it, man. That doesn't mean run around telling everybody what you did. That's stupid. Don't do that. But you got to own in here everything you do. Everything. That messed up relationship, that was on you. You went and got her. She ain't come to you. You went and got her.
Yep.
Right? That bankruptcy, yo, you made some decisions that put you there. You didn't mean to. Life got in your way. Still your decision. Right? So it's like you got to own it. And then with that, I promise you, you guys, if you're at that stage where you can just own every decision you make, you can sleep better. You can have sleep. You can have peace.
Yep. Man, on that note, man, hey, that's the best way to end it, bro. I think that's a great way to close out. Man, you said something, bro. Like, I think man, I don't even need to say anything else. That's a perfect way to end it, man. We have to own the decisions we make, but we are the accumulation of our decisions. You know what I'm saying? About how we are in our life. But I'm left with one thought that I always tell my son. I said, the Bible says that all things work to the good of those that believe in Jesus Christ, right? So all things, all good and bad, will work to your favor, right? Because you're gonna get a lesson. You're gonna either learn or you're gonna get a lesson. You're gonna either learn or get a lesson, but it's gonna work out for you. It'll work out for you. The only time it doesn't work out for you if you refuse to heed the lesson or learn anything, or you just stop. That's when you can't get nothing.
So, brothers and sisters out there, what you have in front of you here is you have my brother Antiwan, is truly a man of God. I'm different. But because here's what I'm saying.
I'm a man of God, but I'm not I won't say that I find fallacies in everything, right?
No, I get you. I was just saying, like, for me, like, that particular passage has always been problematic for me, right? So all things work for the good of those who love God, right? And because I think it says God, it doesn't say Jesus, it says God. But the thing is, that can still be an ultimate truth, right? Because even if it ends in you losing your earthly life, you just go back to your creator. You know what I'm saying? So it still can work to your eternal benefit. I guess that would be the way I'll put it. But I like to pull back on it mainly because of one word: cancer. See what I'm saying? So, and there's a lot of other things you can supplement in there. It could be you went to a party one time, You thought you were smoking a joint with your friends, was laced, and now you out of here, or you're strung out, or your brain dead. How that work? How that work good for me? How that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, here's my pushback from that, right? Because I live this principle because like I've lost a brother, right? You know, I lost a brother to an accident when in '98, um, who made a decision, right? And when I say when all things work to the good of those that believe in God, right? So that necessarily not be might not be you. The decision that you made may make a greater decision for somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
gotcha. Like the ripple in the pool, right? Yeah, all right, I
So
got you.
like even though even though you may have lost my brother lost his life, it also allowed me to be a better love my son better, right? It made me to love my father better, right? It may make me be a bigger impact in the world. So the sacrifice that of his life, when I took it, when it happened, was God, why? Why, why? So I took that pain and you make it better. So that's why I say like all things work to the good of those that believe and
No,
love.
and I
That's
love that you
I,
expanded
yeah,
because that is what is super important, right? It is the eternal truth is that your life doesn't just belong to you,
exactly.
right? But if we leave the statement just at the statement,
Yeah,
it can create a lot of confusion and hurt,
right.
you know. But like when you were saying, it's true. Like when I said it's like the ripple principle, right?
Mhm.
In my life, I don't know how much of an impact I will have on really anyone, including the ones that I've dedicated my life to. But I view it as if I can just be part of the ripple, right? Like something that I did for somebody or something about the way I lived my life, something about the way I engaged with the world
Yeah,
impacted you,
right.
and then something that you did impacted, right? And then out of that comes an Obama, right? Just to pick a name,
Exactly.
or a Malcolm X, right? It doesn't have to be a direct, right, give
Yeah,
and play.
yeah.
It's did I contribute to this thing,
Hmm.
right? And I think that's super important. And I love how you put that because at the time I wasn't processing it like that, right? I was processing it more along, well, nah, there's a lot of times where
Yeah,
I
even
love God and I still got cashed out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, and it's gonna, and it happens. It happens over time. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. But it does work out. And the power. It's a power of positivity as well, right? To be able to look and see the things that are that you to be able to look at your failure and say, I'm going to make something positive happen out of this, because that's what life is going to give you. Life is going to handle your failures. And if you just stay and you lament and you just like, okay, I'm a failure. Like this is what I believe, I'm a failure, and that's where you're going to remain in your life. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to like push past and see that like I made these mistakes. I own them. I did it, but I'm gonna learn from it and I'm gonna get better. And I'm not gonna make the same mistake. I might make it 1,000 times, but every time I make that next decision, I'm making it with more experience. You know,
I'm not
so
starting from zero. Or
that's
as Kwame Ture would say, I might be starting over from zero, but I'm starting from a much more qualified
zero.
zero.
Exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate that, bro, and I love us having these discussions. I mean, we ended up completely way off of where
Oh
we
yeah, yeah,
started.
yeah. Surprise,
Yeah,
surprise, surprise, surprise.
yeah, but yeah, man. Young brothers out there, um, and I say young brothers, it doesn't matter your age, man. The stuff we talked about is just what's real. It's never too late. As long as you got breath, it's not too late for you to just buck up and do some things. And I would leave y'all with one other thing. Even if you feel, even if you feel like you're a failure, even if you feel that like you in a dark time right now, I ask of you, um, think about how you feel. think about how heavy that feels to feel that you're failing. Because believe me, I wrestle with this, right? When you're responsible for people,
You always wrestle with it.
there's a lot of times, man, I'm just,
Definitely be comfortable with you. You always gonna wrestle with that.
yeah, a lot of times your chest get tight, the tears start coming, you don't even know why they're coming. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got to hear nothing, see nothing. It's just your body just reacts and you just start shutting it down. So, brothers, we know, okay? But I say this because I had to learn this trick and it helps me. When I'm in those dark moments, because they cycle, I think about how I feel. And I think about how desperately I don't want somebody else to feel that. That might be your mission, folks. That might be your mission.
Yeah.
How do you take whatever setback you're dealing with, whatever has put you in this moment, whatever that is, you know you don't like how that feels. And you are now more qualified than you were before you started having that experience now. Because you're a survivor now. So now you can go and teach somebody else and try to help them not deal with what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, hey, you know me, I'm rainbow and sunshine. I bring everybody.
That's not for you just to learn, bro. Other people with.
Yeah. But brother, I appreciate you as always. Sage mind, man. This is that dude for real. If you don't know him, you need to get to know him. And I'm gonna keep dragging him out here as much as I can. But hey guys, y'all, thank you. Complex Mind, Simple Man. This is your host, Theus, my brother Antiwan. And you guys take care of yourselves. You got any parting words you want?
No, man, that's good, man. Always a pleasure. Hope to see y'all same place, same time next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be more consistent.
Yeah. Try to get there.